Hey guys, Emirati here. I've been playing a lot of Last Epoch recently, and this game is super fun. If you've played ARPGs before, like Diablo, Crypt Dawn, this is a new contender to one of the all-time greats, in my opinion. I just love the systems. It's got so much potential. It's only in early access at the moment, but I've got high hopes for this. Anyway, I've got a build for you guys today I've been playing with. I think it's one of the cooler builds I've ever played in an ARPG. It's just so visually satisfying right now, as well as doing really good damage. It's not a face tank build like the other Spellblade builds at the moment. It is a lot more movement, dodging, kiting, positioning, and I think that's why I enjoy it, because it's just so satisfying when you just unleash an absolute torrent of fireballs and it's all critting and flying around in the screen, as you would have seen in some of the footage before. Anyway, going through the build. The build is dependent on the interaction of a few different items. So what we're trying to do is stack as much ignite chance as possible, so that when you cast a fire skill, it's going to ignite. So I've got the soul fire there, so that's 209% chance to ignite on hit, as well as a few other pieces on gear, as well as in your talent tree, and you're going to use Flame Reave to proc Fireball through the Catalyst of Fire node. So each time you hit an enemy, you have a chance to cast a Fireball, so 40% chance on hit. And with the Flame Caller ability of Flame Reave that's going to send and come back, you can hit a lot of enemies just with a single cast, which means a lot of Fireballs. So we're going to specialize into Fireball here, and have it do some crazy stuff, which I'll get in later into the builds. As well as this, you can get a very high crit chance with Fireball through a few different nodes, as well as some spell critical chance. So what I do with this is, because there are so many hits with Fireball, I'm actually using Ring of the Third Eye, and that's going to supplement a lot of your ward gain, because it's got 30% chance to gain 15 ward on crit. And you are doing a lot of crits. It doesn't matter if they crit big or small, you're just doing a lot of them. So that's where you're going to get a lot of your ward from. For skills, I'm running Mana Focus, Flame Ward, Fireball, Enchant Weapon, and Flame Weave. Just to note though, you don't have to actually put Fireball on your bars, and it's much better to use Teleport, because positioning is very important in this build. So I'm just going to run through it quickly. Mana Focus, you don't need too much mana, but it's still really good to have this ability. Just make sure you're topped off and you're never running out of steam. Very standard focus build, so energy battery, 3 points there, 3 points into Everward, but you can go 5. 5 points into Mind Shield, 1 point into Energy Infusion, 4 points into Desperate Meditation. You can take 2 points out of there for Everward, and then 4 points for Mana Flooded. For Flame Ward, we have 2 points in Stalwart Defense, 5 points in Barrier. This is probably the most important one. That's going to buy your Flame Ward's burst window, having 4 seconds where you can just do a lot of damage because you know that you're not going to die. 3 points into Energize, 2 points in Recollection, 3 points in Dilation, and 5 points in Infusion. If you don't have the Flame Ward charge on your chest affix yet, so that's the new one that was just introduced into this patch, you will want to go for Dual Aegis. Just take out this package here of Energize and Recollection, and build up into that just to get Dual Aegis, because you do want additional charges. This isn't an auto cast Flame Ward build. This is a cast Flame Ward when you need to survive and do damage. Next on to Fireball. So for Fireball, you want your Piercing Heat. That's what's going to make you go quadratic, with each Fireball being able to pierce and hit every other enemy. So if you've got 8 enemies ahead of you, you're going to see like 160 or something different hits of your Fireball with your Flame Reave cast or something like that. It is a silly amount there. Orb Destruction and 4 points in Burning Wound. That's going to get your Fireball up to 16% crit for a baseline, so additional 3% there, and that's 100% more, so double that up to 16%. Means you only need 600% to hit 100% crit rate. You don't need to hit 100% crit rate, you just need to go quite high, and you've got plenty of passives to kind of get you halfway there, so you don't need much out of your gear. You also want to go for flammability, pick up your homing as well as your flame burst and volatile flames. This is really important because the flame burst, one, hits really hard, and 2 also procs ignite in an AoE as well. So not only are you proccing lots of ignites per fireball hit, which you're casting a lot of fireballs through the Flame Reave, but you're also hitting the Flame Burst every time you hit an enemy 3 times with a fireball. Your enchant weapon is going to be there to do this ability. So you're not using enchant weapon to buff your damage going into a damage window. It's there, you jump in with your teleport, you pop your ward, you cast Flame Reave a lot, and then you follow it up with enchant weapon with Conflagrate. So that's going to take all your ignite damage and turn it into a huge nuke on all living enemies. So this is how you kill high HP enemies. So if you can ignite enemies to about 80%, hit this and you'll watch them drop to either dead or sub 10%. Just, it is so much damage. You also want to go for the ignite duration there, 5 points there, only 2 points in melee ignite chance. This isn't as important. Keep in mind, melee ignite chance only applies to Flame Reave and not Fireball. Lastly, 4 points in concentration, 4 points in Shivering Blade. You can also look to pick up 4 points in celerity by moving either concentration or Shivering Blade. It's up to you, it's really what your configuration is, but I'm happy with the melee chill chance. I think that's probably the most important, as well as just the active duration, because that does help with your like internal flames and your immolating strikes to some extent. Lastly, Flame Reave. So you want to go down here, 2 points into Explosive Blood, 1 point into ISAP, 4 points into Reaving Assault, 1 point into Flame Blade, 1 point into Flame Caller, very important, 4 points into Dancing Flame, 3 points into Rending Ire, and 4 points into Catalyst of Fire. If you want, you can take 1 point out of Reaving Assault to go for the 100% mana efficiency. At the moment as well, the Explosive Blood doesn't work, the mana cost isn't properly being added to it. So if this does get fixed, you may want to go the Heatwave route, but I think just for the moment, it's not going to affect it too much. You're quite good with mana, so you can generally chain cast quite a bit, and your fireballs are free, so not too bad. If you don't have Cindersong or a very good Scepter, you can look at using Humming Bee or Eye of Rain. Because Cindersong is doing that thing where it's reducing the mana cost of fire spells by 3 and adding those 2 fire projectiles. If you don't have this, you'll want to pick up 2 points in Adept and 3 points in Mana Sphere just to make sure that your fireball is free. Or at least 2 points into that. You'll probably need to take out Flame Burst and some element of crit through Burning Words. Alright, onto gear. Like I've said, so your 3 legendaries you're going to use is Cindersong, Ring of the Third Eye, and Soulfire. I've actually found out since there's probably one really important thing that you want to include, and that's on your belt. So there's 2 prefixes there. Dodge rating on potion use and ignite chance on potion use. At tier 5, they are huge amounts, insane amounts. So what you'll actually do is when you group up your enemies, you'll TP there, if they're in front of you, you'll hit your Flame Ward, you'll hit your potion, and that's going to give you a huge amount of ignite chance, a huge amount of fire damage, so you can just absolutely unload. So for example, if I just hit a few on that, you can see that that's kind of ticking for about 3-4k, and so I'll try that again once it drops off. So Flame Ward and potion, go for about 4 seconds. Go 9k there, so that's a lot better. Normally that will go up to about 11-12k, and then if you imagine that it's ticking for about 12k over 4 seconds, so that's your ignite stack is essentially about 40-50k. You could triple that with enchant weapon, and my gear is nowhere near optimized. You can get a lot more ignite chance and fire damage onto your build, and so that's what I'm working to now. You just want to make sure that you've got your critical strike avoidance and set glancing blow in place, so that's probably the most important. I'm just quickly scrolling over. I don't have optimal gear, so by no means important, no means an end goal, but I would say you want to have your movement speed on your boots, your increased melee attack speed on your gloves, and your flame ward charge on your chest. There's a new rare affix, which is chance to ignite on hit with fight skills, and you can get a lot out of that with battle mage robes and your mage robes and your mage crown. And then there's also elemental damage on hit. Elemental dot that you can put on your ring, amulet, and belt. Obviously, you won't have room on your belt, but those two can go up to I think 140 or 120%. So that's probably the other thing that you want to include there. Unfortunately, I don't have a ring on me at the moment with that affix on it. Other good things to use while you're transitioning is Exsanguous, Prison Wraps, just two generally good items. Calamity is a great item, but like I said before, you can get that chance to ignite on hits on your helmet now, so that'll eventually replace it out. Viper Tail, so if you don't have those belt affixes, this is great because it's your only opportunity to get it slow on hit, and I think that's really, really important for kiting around. Fiery Dragon's Shoes just does extra damage, and Bone Climber Barbute is just a generally good mage item. Other thing I forgot is your idols. So you're looking for Ignite Duration and Ward per second. So a combination of those. Obviously, I've got some pretty bad ones. I think the Ignite Duration is probably the most important, but you do want a decent amount of Ward per second because that's going to give you a good buffer for health when you're cutting around. You're not taking too much damage, but you'll have like skeleton archers, things that you can't avoid, small little hits that here and there. So you just want to be able to survive that, and then jump in when everything's in position and balled up, jump in front of it and cleave it down, hitting your flame ward and your potion, and that's going to give you the damage reduction you need, and then you're going to get a whole ton of ward from all that critting you're doing with Ring of the Third Eye. Other good things you can see there is just that ward on hit, increase armor, mana spent as well. You don't really spend too much mana, so not that great of an item, but still fairly decent. Alright, onto the passives. So I am level 95 at the moment, so I've got 5 points to go, but it's pretty clear where those 5 points will go. So in the mage class, you want to go 2 points in Scholar, 8 points in Arcanist, 5 points in Mage Flurry, 10 points in Knowledge of Destruction. Sorcerer, 8 points in Calculated Destruction, 10 points in Wisdom, and eventually you want to go for the 5 points in Whirling Slow. Just pick up a few points early on. That's just going to give you your chill chance on attack. You don't need to do this with cold abilities. If you have a little bit, it's usually enough to get there with all the hits you're doing. So that's going to apply on your Flame Reave hits, so that's going to apply on your Fireball hits. Your attacks and spells. Anyway, on your Spellblade, you've got 5 points in Arcane Wardom, 10 points in Infernal Imbuement, 10 points in Volcanic Blade, 5 points in Spellweaver. This is great because it means that for all your casting with Flame Reave, your fireballs are actually going to do a lot of damage. Your Flame Burst is going to do a lot of damage as you just get a free 500% odd spell damage just from casting, or 300 or 500% depending on how much attack speed you've got. 10 points in Flame Tender. I've got 11, so that'll go up to 13 once I finish the build. Sorry, 14 in Triple Strike, mainly for the intelligence there. 5 points in Mind Slayer, 5 points in Mind Flame, so your ward on kill is obviously still very important and core fundamental of this Spellblade at the moment. Other one to note is Ward Drought, and I think I'm actually going to respec into this at the moment because you're using that potion. You can get up to 10 points there, so I'll be looking for 5 points from Spellthirst, and either Volcanic Blade or Triple Strike, taking some points out of there and putting that into the Ward Drought rather. So I've just got a gear planner here of what I'm working towards, and just showing you some of the stats that you can go for. So like I've said, so your Cinder Song, your Soulfire, and your Third Eye are your three key components that you're going to be using. You've got up to 80% chance to ignite on hit, as well as using that set glancing, which is really important, and dodge. You still want to go for that dodge damage, using up to 60% of a Solar Flame for the implicit stat there as well is also really good. On your chest, using that extra flame ward charge is really, really important. You only need to get one of these. You don't need to get a tier 3 or tier 5 or anything like that. Just the first tier will get you one, and then that chance to ignite on hit, as well as the dodge chance, I think is really, really important. Percent dodge is kind of rare, but it's going to be very, very important for when you use potion. So up to 800 dodge rating. 800 dodge rating. So that is going to take you up to a huge amount of dodge. You're going to be dodging most attacks, and as well as the 300% chance to ignite on hit there. So I think you can do some crazy stuff with that. Make sure you hit your critical strike avoidance and your set glancing blow as needed. But yeah, I've updated the thread, so you can just click on this and check this in your own time. You can move a few things around with the critical strike avoidance and what you have, and if there's anything you don't like, you can go for a silver amulet instead of a jade amulet, for example, or any of the other rings are usually fairly fine. There's a lot of things you can use. It's up to you and what's available to your playthrough. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have fun if you're going to try out this build. I'm having a lot of fun with this game, as I said at the start. I'll leave you with some extra footage of running through Monolith of Fate and arenas. At the moment, I've managed to get up to 112. This is a particularly bad arena kind of patch at the moment, mainly because it's hell up here you go before you get hit by Fireboy at the moment, or the big siege golem that is just insta-tubing people. Very hard to play around, and yeah, it's just unfortunate. Once he gets toned down, I think we'll be keen to see how far I can actually go into the arena, as well as a lot of other builds. And I think a lot of other builds are still finding their feet up to the huge ward nerf, so that's why we haven't seen as many sorceresses or spellblades higher on the ladder. The Shadow Strike build is still very, very good, but it's just a difference in playstyle. I kind of like the running around and kiting more than the getting up close in your face and setting the world frozen. So there you go, guys. If you like this, I'm gonna try and think of some more cool builds while this is in early access. I think there's just so much potential with this game, and I'm really looking forward to it. So leave a like, comment, or perhaps subscribe if you like this. Let me know your thoughts below, and thank you all.